my background, my family have always had their own businesses. At one point we had the UK's largest camping company. From the age of 6 I was involved in sales at trade shows for our own business. On leaving university I went down the sales route and for many companies from import exports through internet, and that just seemed to be the way my career took off. Came back from the States in 2001 and went into car sales and was running car dealerships, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but unfortunately it meant I never saw the family. Working stupid hours a day, days off was full of emails, and it was just no personal time. So I started looking for what else I could do, and having already had a family business, I knew the pitfalls, I knew the benefits, and started looking around and stumbled upon this rundown fishery in 2011, which we then bought, and there was nothing really here. There's a lake, and we then spent about 3-4 years putting in everything you see today. So we put in a cafe, we put in new fishing platforms, all the new infrastructure, a new tackle shop, a new party cabin. We put a holiday cottage in, and we developed this place until it was the top attraction in the local area. But then we thought, what else can we now do? What's the second phase of our development? And that was to bring a captive audience to site. So in other words, people staying here and using our other services, the fishing, the cafe, etc. And went on the internet, looked at 5 or 6 different companies. I'll be honest, Wigwam was one of only 2 that called me back, and you were the only one that came to visit me. And I met with Charles Gulland, the director. He came to see me one very wet November day. And I was taken back by his passion. The reason he got involved with the Wigwam, it's all about, reliving his childhood and bringing inner city kids into what we take for granted, which is the beautiful great outdoors. And I like that, and it's something that we kind of do here anyway on the fishing. So I felt that the values of Wigwam were very closely tied with my own values. So we became one of the first franchisees back in 2014. Opened our doors 2015 and never looked back. Started with 6 Wigwams, got 7 now with planning for 4 more. There's a number of companies I looked at, and yes, some of them had great products, but not one of them were there to help me. They were all about selling me a product, and that was it. So they wouldn't visit me unless there was financial commitment. It was all about the deal now, and being a salesman, I don't like that. It's not the way I operate. It's a relationships, and that's what this is all based on. And what I liked about Wigwam was the fact that, I'm busy. I run a fishery, I have other businesses I run, I'm busy. But Wigwam were going to come along, take the marketing away from me. In fact, most of it, they were going to kind of provide the customer to me. And straight away I could see this partnership developing where they could help grow my business. Because, we're investing £200,000 to £250,000 on average for a 6 Wigwam site. It's a lot of money. What I didn't want to happen was to not be able to make those repayments to the bank from year 1. And I knew by having Wigwam, I would have occupancy from day 1. In fact, I opened on the 5th of July 2015. I was full my opening weekend. I was 97% full that first summer. So it speaks for itself. But it wasn't just the booking that I loved about Wigwam. Yes, they were there to market, but they were also here to teach me and show me how to run a site. So the Wigwam Academy is a fantastic resource for us, whereby if I'm not sure how to do an element of the job, whether it's changing someone's booking or what's the legal procedures for fire constraints for a site, I just go into the academy and all the information's there. That was a big win to me. It was very easy for us. I'll be honest, we were incredibly lucky. It was a cup of coffee and a chat with someone locally who said, yeah, no bother. It's not normally that way, unfortunately. We were a bit of an exception to the rule, but we had an existing leisure business here. So it was a bit different.
It was more straightforward.
But what I did find, that it's not just the planning. There's a lot of elements you have to navigate through the setup stage, everything from funding, through planning, through finance, through actually how are you going to set up your site, what infrastructure do you need there, how are you going to do the utilities, all these questions. And having someone at the end of the phone that had helped umpteen other sites go through these issues was a big help. There's always someone there to talk to guide, because I'd never done anything like this before. my challenge in setting up for us was the British weather. We had a horrible winter because obviously most people choose to set up after summer to be open for the spring, and it rained for 6 months straight. So we kept digging stuff and having to re-dig them and having to relay them. So I do think that weather is something you need to be aware of when setting up a site, and because the site needs to be finished, but it also needs to have time for the site to reseed and to look beautiful again before you open. So yeah, the weather needs to be taken into account. It's fun. It's hard work, you know, but you're dealing, it's not like being in the motor trade where someone's got to pay 700 quid to get the car serviced and they're very angry. You're dealing with happy holiday makers, and the moment they walk in, if you've got a beautifully presented site, you've already won. They're smiling before they even deal with you, and that's the key. And I love it. I've got to admit, we get loads and loads of lovely people. We get a massive return customer rate, and we're building friends, and that's what it's all about. And this year we've actually just been awarded Traveller's Choice from TripAdvisor, which I'm very, very proud of, because it's the top 1% of all TripAdvisor sites get that award, which is a big accolade for us. So that's down to my staff delivering, you know, continuously excellent customer service. And yeah, we enjoy what we do. It's a lot of fun, really is. You know, it's not a 9-to-5 job. You know, sometimes I have to work a little bit in the evenings, but it's a lot of enjoyment. There's a lot of enjoyment. But getting involved with a franchise like this, or an industry like this, you've got to like people. It's not something where you can kind of treat it at arm's length. You're involved with it. People buy from people. People love people. They want to be part of my family when they're here. And getting involved with people is what makes the difference. It's what takes you from an average site to a great site. It's what brings people back. It's what gets people to write your review, to take time to tell their friends about you. And, you know, but it's also the enjoyable bit. It's harder to be horrible to people. And we, you know, it's about enjoying it. I think social media is massive for us, staying connected with our customers. We post pretty much every day, whether it be Instagram, and we've just passed 1,200 followers, which is a nice milestone for us. And Facebook, the goal was 5,000. We're at now 5,205 as of this morning. And it's important to stay connected through your Facebook, your Instagram, because what I do find, if I do have a last-minute occupancy, if I put it on Facebook, it's gone that day. You have to use it wisely. And the good thing was I'd never used social media personally or for business prior to joining Wigwam, but there was training back to the Wigwam Academy which showed me how to do it. So social media is massive for us, as is the social media marketing that Wigwam do on my behalf. So they do a lot of my AdWords and my Google marketing, for which I pay them a small fee every month, but that drives the right customer at my site, and it's worth thousands every month. So yeah, definitely social media is our biggest result.
That's the big one.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's one of the key things a potential site owner has to take on board. The difference between becoming a 40% occupancy site or what I would call an average site to a superstar, if you like, is the level of commitment and work you're going to do yourselves. And I think social media is a starting point. You've got to be prepared to be posting, to be looking for different things. You know, we'll post pictures of the dogs, we'll post pictures of customers, lots of different things, activities happening in the local area, whatever it may be. A nice sunset, we had a beautiful sunset last night, that's been posted. And it's just about continually reminding the customer who you are, where you are, and they want to come back to you. And the more you do that, the greater rewards. So as a potential site owner, I would definitely recommend and advise that would be something you'd need to be putting in, you know, half an hour a day. To be fair, I don't have an exact figure, but it is a massive percentage. So, for example, today we're full, and of the 7 Wigwams, 4 are returning customers. So it's a very, very high percentage. One of them has been back 4 times this year, and they're friends. So I would say we probably get somewhere 30 to 40% return customer.
Wow.
And if I look at growth year on year, we're looking about 35% growth this year, which would marry up to that figure. Challenge. It can be after a busy summer. Keeping smiling can be a challenge, I'll be honest. You know, we've been working a lot of hours during the summer, incredibly profitable, but it's tiring. You know, it's your own business, you're in it every day, and you've got to accept that. I think that's something important to take from the beginning. That, you know, if someone knocks on my door at 6 of the night, the shop closes at 5:30 and they want some logs, I'm probably going to go get them for them. So that can be a bit wearing sometimes. On the plus side, I'm always at home. And we're not busy 12 months a year. Yeah. You know, there's loads of downtime that I can enjoy and spend with the kids and do my other activities. So there is a plus and negative there. It was odd. The first night we opened, to see all the lights on the hillside and customers there was different, but I like it. We are quite a small site, so the Wigwams are probably the closest one's 40, 50 metres from my bedroom window, so they're not very far away. I think the most important thing is that in the 5 years I've been doing this, I've been out twice at night to complain about noise. So I have a rule here, at 10 o'clock, you can sit by your fire pit, but you have to be conscious of your neighbours, and the noise level has to come down, music stopped, etc. And I went out the first one, it was a family, incredibly embarrassed. The second one, as I walked up them Wigwam, there was a cheer, and they had a pint ready for me, and they had a bet on what time I was going to be out, and they're a repeat customer. So I think the key to what I'm trying to say is that really it's not been an issue for us. People are very respectful, and I think as long as you set the ground rules at check-in, so, you know, if we had an all-girl group, for example, we'd made sure they get a telephone call and they get told that noise level's at 10 and we're not a party site. And based on them being communicated to, we've never had an issue. I also think because of the custom we bring, you know, we're bringing young families, we're bringing couples on romantic breaks, we're bringing older couples for walking holidays. We're not bringing potentially bunches of lads just wanting to come and get drunk. It's a different type of holiday. And it tends to bring people that love the great outdoors. So they're respectful, they know how to act in the countryside. And as such, to be honest, it's lovely hearing the children laughing, running around the site, enjoying what you've offered them. We take a lot of joy in it. And, you know, we also have the kids fishing here. So, you know, some days we'll have 70, 80 kids on site. So, yeah, it can get quite noisy. What we do is we have alpacas here, and we do an alpaca meet and greet and a sheep meet and greet. So at 6 o'clock we walk round, and my partner Catherine, she's like the Pied Piper, all the kids follow her. We go up to see the alpacas and they hand feed them. And they all love them. We give them a talk about the alpacas. That's something we might start charging for in the future. We only got the alpacas this year, so it's something we're still trialling. And then we go down to the field and we've got 4 sheep, some baby doll sheep, and they'll hand feed from the kids as well. And it's just such a unique experience for these guys. You know, when you think most of the kids that stay with us are from the inner city, they may not have gardens, and they don't see what we see every day. So for them, for most of them, it's the highlight of their stay. Control my own destiny. You know, if I don't want to work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because I have to take my daughter to school, I'll take my daughter to school. It allows me to do what I want to do, but more importantly, I love what I do. I enjoyed car sales, but you're doing it for somebody else. This way, I know that whatever difference I make, whatever time I go above and beyond, it's actually adding to my bottom line, and it's profiting me, not someone else. And but I'll be honest, I think the key thing is just it's enjoyable. You're dealing with happy people. You really are, and that's the key to this all. I love it. Highlight of the year is the conference, which unfortunately due to Corona looks like it might be on the internet this year, which will be a big shame. But for example, the last 2 days I've had 5 phone calls from different franchises asking me about pricing. You know, so we're all kind of talking to each other and we're comparing notes. And it's nice that we have the people we can talk to take advice. So for example, because of Corona, we're having to put prices up slightly because cleaning's more expensive. So rather than me just taking a stab in the dark, we've all kind of got together and said, well, why don't we put it up 5%? So we can act in unison and are much more informed than we would be otherwise. And the beauty of the community is, because we're so geographically disparate, we're not in competition with each other. So I'm not in competition with Cotswolds, because you either want to go to the Cotswolds or you want to come to Cumbria. And it's as simple as that. So as such, we can be very collaborative and we can be friends. And I think it's a big part of the community. I love being part of the community. It's like-minded individuals. You know, I could say just do it, but that's probably a bit simple. I think the first thing I'd do is I'd go stay at a site. I'd take that back. First thing I'd do is walk your land. And I think the key to any site is you find the field, the plot of ground, whatever it is where you want to put wigwams, camp there. Would you want to stay there? And if you want to stay there and it's your land, chances are somebody else will. And look at it with fresh eyes. And you'll be amazed at how beautiful what's already in front of your eyes is. I would then stay at another site and see what other people are offering, and then give us a call. Because I'll be honest, the monetary, socially, personally, it's a big win for me. It's very good for the soul, but it's also very, very financially beneficial. The rewards are phenomenal. I'm blown away that I can keep earning more and more every year out of the same wigwam. I have holiday cottage. My holiday cottage returns less than £20,000 wigwam because of the type of holiday it is. It's definitely something to look at seriously, and give us a call. Come visit my site. I'll show you how we operate. Talk to other site owners. Do your due diligence.